In this video we have the D600, the 6D, and we kick some small balls around.
Small. Well, the Canon 6D has arrived, but only after a bit of time after this, the D600 has been released. But which one is the better, cheaper but not so cheap full-frame DSLR? Let's find out. Each camera have their own advantages and disadvantages. On paper it seems like the Canon 6D is the shitter camera, but it isn't. Well, don't know. We have to test it, don't we? Let's go. Oh, I feel dizzy now. As cheaper full-frame DSLRs, they both take little bits from the cheaper DSLRs in their range and also the more expensive ones. The Nikon, for example, is a bit like a D800 in a way, but more like a D7000 in terms of the buttons. The ISO button is down here. You don't have a dedicated ISO button here. It's shared with another function here. And the same goes for the white balance. It's shared with the question mark and the key function, which means that when you're shooting like this, it's all the action is going. You're basically picking your own nose while you're doing the white balance and the ISO. And the dial on the top is very D7000. And we've got the Canon 6D here, which is in some ways very much like the 60D. You've got the numpad here, set button and the 8-way controller here. And all the buttons are on the side here, the right side for one-handed control. But in some ways it is quite like the 5D Mark III in terms of the feel. They're much better, not like the spongy 60D buttons. On the top it looks very 5D Mark III-ish, but the thing is, there's no dedicated white balance button. What you have to do is go to the quick menu. It's like a really chic 8-bit game.
Even though with the Nikon you have to pick your own nose to get to the white balance, you need to remove your face from the screen to get to the white balance for the 6D.
This one, it doesn't have a built-in flash like the 60D. It's more like the 5D Mark III in that sense, although that's taking stuff off, not putting stuff on.
Talking about the flash, the Canon has a slow flash sync speed at 180 for a second versus 200 for a second of the Nikon.
It's only one SD card slot. Oh no! Nikon's got 2 SD card slots. 2 slots to shove your thing in it.
In terms of body features, the Nikon seems to have a better feature set. The built-in flash, 2 SD card slots, and the almost dedicated ISO and white balance buttons, even though that they're in your face.
Bit of a boring shot, sorry, but not saying you're boring. Let's have him in the frame as well. The Canon is actually smaller, sorry guys. This is 3-inch screen, 3.2 inch. But the Canon has got more pixels on it, more dots. Oi. And the Nikon's is green anyway, so. But one thing you will notice is that the aspect ratios are different. So that means that it fills the screen of the Canon. Oi. And for the Nikon, you got a black bar underneath there with the info. That's 0.2 inches, a bit more than that actually. And they're mildly weather sealed. I wouldn't use them in the rain. Well, I am, but oh, we have to just use you as a model, Lambie, because there's nothing of interest around here. We've just got hose pipe. I like how the students have probably made some kind of artistic. What can you? It looks like a man on that side with his penis there, and there's somebody bending over. Can you see that, or was it just me? Oh yes, it's the Chinese University, Hong Kong. Leave a comment below to say, yeah, I'm from Chinese University, Hong Kong. Just over there. She should be British, because she moans so much. Oh, what I can see through the viewfinder. This magnificent 100% accuracy-ness. It's so beautiful, this 100%-ness. Canon, it's just 97%.
3% doesn't sound like much, but it makes all the bloody difference when it comes to bloody accurate bloody framing. You might frame your shot, then when you look at the image preview you notice the bloody trees in your frame like it's a moving tree from the Lord of the Rings or some shit.
So through the viewfinder also, what's through the viewfinder? You got 39 autofocus points in a sanitary towel configuration. But it's Nikon, so it should be, I've got on 3D continuous autofocus. Okay. Moving very fast there. Good test.
And then the Canon.
Now this has only got 11 autofocus points. 1 cross type. Nikon's got 9 cross type. I mean, forget the sanitary towel configuration. I guess this kind of reaches out as far as that, but still. Let's put it on AI focus. E-I-A-I-O. Okay. Yeah. And that has got less of a burst rate, 4.5 FPS, 5.5 with the Nikon. Bush.
Alright, they're two different lenses, but I would say that the Nikon combo is a bit snappier. However, in terms of accuracy, they're both pretty decent. Continuous autofocus is more than adequate with both of them.
Let's try another one. Don't actually need it, I just thought I'd make her walk. Oh shit, she heard it.
I kind of feel bad that so far it's almost been one way. Let's talk about something that the Canon will be better at, most likely.
Oh, let's do some video here. Video tests. Magical Chinese shit. Let's do the video test. This has got video. That's the end of the test, let's go. Now it's got 1080p video recording. And you've got a mic input and you've got a headphone jack here. The thing is, you can't change the bloody aperture when you've got live view on. So. Now in terms of video, the Canon's always better, isn't it? Apart from the actual features, this has only got a mic input, it hasn't got a headphone jack. Who?
Rolling shutter effect doesn't seem so pronounced when doing some simple panning with both of them. Detail was better with the Canon, although there's a little bit of moire.
Anyway, image quality. We might as well do image quality now, but we should do it in a different place to make it refreshing, different. Every part of the video, a little something different. So, yeah, there's a bit of contrast and, you know, to test the dynamic range there. I don't know why I keep speaking like this. Anyway.
You can expect that the Nikon, which has 24 megapixels, has a slight edge over the 20 megapixel Canon in terms of details. There is a little, but the key thing is that it does seem to offer better dynamic range. Now, some people on the interweb have been saying that the D600 doesn't have the ability to do AF micro adjust. It does, it's just called AF fine tune.
So we've got our handball expert here. He plays football, but he cheats a lot, so he's quite a handball expert. Oh! And it's all over. Testing the Canon for action. Now the Canon isn't a speed demon. Don't expect 5D Mark III. Oh. Oh. Oh! 1-on-1. Try Nikon. Oh, this is a speed demon, this is. Oh yes. This is pretty good actually. Feels a bit more responsive than a Canon, even though this isn't the best. See, Theo's famous for playing football with his hand. But now he's playing handball, he keeps using his feet.
The Nikon feels a little quicker, but the hit rate is kind of the same. I'm not exactly a big fan of the D600's AF system, especially when compared to the D800 and 5D Mark III. But I have to say, apart from the AF points, this combo does feel subtly better than the Canon.
It's quite a neato camera though. I mean, apart from the focusing, which is a little bit slow, and there isn't a 100% accuracy viewfinder, one SD card slot. The real big advantage I see is the Wi-Fi and the GPS. The Wi-Fi is a pretty cool feature. Let's set the focus. It's quite slow, the focus, and sometimes you don't see it in focus. This is weird. I'm looking at myself. It's a mirror version. I think it's closed. Oh. Oh shit, I'm in the shot. Let me get out. Oh, it's weird. It's mirrored, obviously. That way's close, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. Go. This is interesting because if you've got no friends, you can just use this to shoot yourself.
The AF is slow in live view, so there's that delay. Plus the view from your iPhone has a bit of lag obviously as well.
We've got a DigitalRev fan here. Sorry, what's your name? Terry. Terry. You might want to get behind the net just in case I accidentally hit you. I'm not that good. Oh.
While the Nikon was left on the ground, we were busy messing about with a football and the interesting Wi-Fi remote controller. ISO 1600 isn't worth comparing, they're both good. The shadows in the Nikon's 3200 file start to get a little rough and speckly. The 60 has clean looking shadows at the same ISO. The ISO 6400 files from the D600 are usable, although starting to look a little bit rough. And the Canons, although a bit of colour speck showing up, is pretty decent looking. ISO 12800, it's game over Nikon. You might even be able to use the ISO 25600 shot from the Canon, which is its native highest ISO, but you can go even higher than that if you're nuts. Ye old Canon-Nikon comparison, albeit with their new cheaper full frames. Nikon arguably has gotten their foot in the door first by releasing theirs first, and also by offering something that is specs-wise better. Although they are cheaper cameras than their respective bigger brothers, the Nikon hasn't been cheapened on the features as much, as well as producing some brilliant image quality. However, it's not a complete loss for the Canon. If you like the remote shooting feature, it's incredibly useful, plus the fact that it shoots good video and the noise performance is quite amazing. It's still good, just not as good as the Nikon.